Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsy69. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we have yet again another top 5. The top 5 best performing tanks over the last update. Now, I'm actually surprised at all 5 of these tanks. Of course, you might as well call it steel clubbing, because that is what this video is basically going to be. So the top 5 best performing tanks. So coming in at number 5, it is the Panzer 3, and for the last update, this had 66.6% win rate. Like, I get it's a tier 3, it is actually a decent tier 3, and I'd always know that there's going to be a couple of lower tier tanks in this list. Of course, for the best performing, I'm not expecting tier 10s by all means. Like, you probably never get tier 10s because people just don't perform well in tier 10s. There's a lot of people that can perform well in tier 3, but when they come to tier 10, they just cannot play the game. So I'd always expect there to be at least a couple of tier 3s, tier 4s in this list. But in fact, there is no tier 4s even in this list. So that then brings me nicely on to tank number 4. And we have the 10TP. Yes, a tier 2 tank. I don't even know why this is in that list. I don't even know why people are performing so well in this tank. I mean, the tank's okay. 3 out of the 5 tanks, I actually get a mastery badge. So it can't be all bad. The tank that you just watched, the Panzer 3, that was a first class game. But yeah, I'm very surprised at some of these tanks. I mean, again, I know it's a tier 2. This game here, we are going to perform okay because, I mean, we're up against 5 tier 1s. That's not hard. It isn't hard when you're up against tier 1s. Also, I don't think it's got much to do with, like, even new players, because new players don't really perform well. Yeah, they'll get lucky, they don't know what to do, but this is really, this whole list has to be down to people dropping down tiers to actually get better win rate. So this tank has 67% win rate for the last update. So 67% for a tier 2. I mean, if you drop down tier 2, tier 3, then you'll probably win more. But, you know, I'm still surprised at this list. So that is number 4. Let's move on to tank number 3. And we have the BT2, an old favourite, the BT2, the BT7 in tier 3s as well. They were fantastic tanks back in the day. Honestly, they were probably the most popular tier 2 and tier 3. Like, the BT2 is a fantastic tank. Well, it was a fantastic tank, but now, I mean, yeah, it's a tier 2 again. And once you're coming up, when you're coming up against, again, 5 or 4 tier 1s, it really isn't too difficult. Yes, you've got no armor at all, but you do have a decent rate of fire. Of course, you do have low alpha, 60. Well, that was a high roll, so you're not going to do that much all of the time. But yeah, the BT2, as I've said, is an old favourite of everyone back when I was sort of just starting the game. But yeah, 67.5% win rate for the BT2 over the last update. Moving on to tank number 2. And this one, it is the Panzer 35, another tier 2 tank. So that is 3 tier 2s and 1 tier 3 in this, like, best performing video. Like, all these are better performing than any other tank in the game. I haven't just done from certain tiers. This is literally from tier 1 to tier 10, the best performing tanks out of all of them. And yeah, the Panzer 35, again, I'm very surprised at this being in the list. It's okay, but you know, it's not special. None of these are special now, but they're okay. And this has 67.8% win rate over the last update. And now we're not looking at all time. This is just for the, obviously, we've just had an update. This is for that update before we're on now. So yeah, 67.8% win rate over the last update for the Panzer 35. Now, we've been surprised at 4 tanks in the list. Are we going to be surprised at the last remaining tank? The best performing tank for the last update. Yeah, it's a tier 1. It's a tier 1. A tier 1 is the best performing tank. Like, honestly, I just don't understand. I know, of course, if you drop down to tier 1, like we are here, like, we still struggled this game, and we're only up against tier 1s. You know, it's a battle of the tier 1s here, and we still struggled. But again, most of the time, we're going to look after this game at what actually are we coming up against, because surely this cannot be all new players, like performing very, very well for the best performing tank. Of course, we are looking at the T62, 67.9, so only just the best performing tank, but yeah, 67, that's almost basically 68% win rate for the last entire update. Like, it's not for a week, or it's not for a couple of weeks, it's for a whole entire update. Absolutely insane. Now, the T26 was a decent tank. It wasn't ever anything special. The T46, which is tier 3. Now, yeah, that was special. And back sort of 8 years ago, I would not be surprised if that was in the best performing tanks, because it was amazing. Absolutely amazing. But yeah, the T26, a tier 1 tank. Now, the reason I'm really surprised at being in this, especially not even number 1, to be honest, just in the list, is when you do play tier 1, it's not every time you do come up against tier 1s. Most of the time, literally probably like 90% of the time, you will come up against tier 2s, which makes it even harder. Obviously, for the replay, yeah, we're up against tier 1s, and we perform okay. Obviously, it does help coming up against an AFK here, but we'll take it. We'll take it all day long. This is a VAE Type B. Thank you very much for a little bit of free damage. I mean, we're only got almost 400 damage. You know, you're not going to get high damage in these lower tiers, of course not. But as I've said, I'm still very surprised at this entirety of the list. Like, yeah, nice bounce there. I do manage to survive another day from this guy. But yeah, overall, I'm very, very surprised at the whole list. Are you surprised? Did you expect these 5 tanks to be the number 1, like number 1 to 5, the best performing tanks in the game right now, and we don't even see above tier 3? Absolutely incredible. So yeah, we're just gonna, again, another mastery badge. So we're gonna look at this game. Obviously, we got myself with 70,000 battles. Let's just have a look at my team. This guy, I mean, 60,000 battles. So these are not new players. This guy, over 10,000 battles. The T26 here, over 102,000 battles. I mean, he doesn't just play lower tier. His average damage is quite high. So, yeah, he just wanted to drop down to tier 1. You got the Hargo here. Okay, he's fairly new at 500 battles. The Panzer 2 here, fairly new at 693 battles. And of course, the remaining Vickers at 80,000 battles. So that is a lot of battles between just my team alone. Like, we're not even... Look, I mean, the enemy, yeah, that's 4 plus 3. That's another 500. Okay, that's fairly a new player. 1,500. Okay, fairly new. 600, fairly new. This guy, 38,000. And the last remaining, 21,000. So that's a lot of battles between our whole team playing tier 1. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. But clearly, if you want a seal club and if you want to win games, get your win rate up, clearly you need to go down to tier 1, 2 and 3. Hope you enjoyed today's video, guys. I'm meadsy69 and I'll catch you all soon. Bye bye.